The table was longer than I remembered. Or maybe it just felt that way with more people filling the space. 14. I counted without meaning to. Plates passed in both directions, conversations overlapping, the kind of noise that made everything feel settled even when it isn't. I took my usual seat. Not assigned but consistent enough that no one questioned it. Across from me, my sister was already mid-conversation. Someone had asked about her residency. And the answers came easily, structured, impressive, practiced in a way that made other people lean in. My mother waited for the right moment. She always did. When it came, she stood slightly, lifting her glass just enough to gather attention without demanding it. You know, she said, smiling. One daughter is a doctor. A pause. Just long enough. And the other is a maid. Laughter moved across the table, not all at once. Some people caught it a second later, adjusting themselves into the reaction. I didn't look down. I didn't look at her either. Instead, I watched how quickly people accepted the sentence. How easily it settled into the space, as if it explained something they already understood. My sister smiled. But it wasn't fully aligned. There was a delay, small, but noticeable if you were looking for it. I didn't react. There wasn't anything new in what she said. Only the audience had changed. I'd spent years inside that word without it being spoken so directly. Not made. Exactly. But the version of it that lives in tasks. Being the one who stayed behind to manage things. Who adjusted schedules. Who filled in where something was missing. Not because it was asked, but because it would have been noticed if it wasn't done. It had never been presented as lesser. Just expected. Useful. The conversation moved on. It always does. Someone asked for more food. Someone else changed the subject. The moment folded into the rest of the evening. Absorbed without resistance, I could have left it there. Most times I did. But something about hearing it that clearly, in that room, with that many people. Something about the way it required no explanation, made it harder to let it pass as background. I didn't feel angry. Just finished with the translation. When my mother stood again, it was predictable. Another toast. Another attempt to center the evening, to our daughter, she said, turning slightly toward my sister. Who worked so hard to become. I picked up my glass before she could finish, not abruptly. Just early enough, she paused. Not because I interrupted, but because the timing didn't align with her script. I stood. Not silent, but attentive in a quieter way. I think that's accurate, I said. My voice didn't carry far, but it didn't need to. A few people leaned in slightly. I mean the part about being a maid. There was a flicker, confusion maybe. Or expectation of a correction. I didn't offer one. I handled most of the house for years. I continued. Scheduling. Meals, cleaning errands. While she studied. I nodded slightly toward my sister, not as a challenge, just as a reference. No one asked me to. I added. But it needed to be done. The room didn't react the way it had before. No laughter this time. Just a kind of recalculation. I'm not saying it's equal, I said. It's not supposed to be. A pause. But it wasn't nothing either. I sat down before anyone could respond. It wasn't dramatic, no one argued. No one apologized. But something didn't reset. My mother didn't finish her toast. She lowered her glass. Adjusted her posture, and let the moment dissolve without trying to reshape it. Across from me, my sister didn't meet my eyes right away. When she did, it was brief, not defensive, not supportive, just aware. Dinner continued. People spoke, but more carefully. Topics shifted toward neutral ground, work, weather, travel plans, safe things. The earlier ease didn't come back the same way. Not broken, just altered, later. As plates were cleared and people began to leave, no one repeated the comparison. Not to me, not to anyone. It wasn't addressed directly. But it wasn't used again either. I didn't feel like I had corrected anything. The roles were still there, the history hadn't changed. But the sentence, made, no longer fit as cleanly as it had before. It had weight now. Context. Something that couldn't be reduced to a joke without effort. When I left, no one stopped me. Not because I was being dismissed. Just because there was nothing left to manage. For once the room could continue without me adjusting it. And that felt unfamiliar. Not better, not worse. just different enough that I noticed it all the way home.